Chris, thanks for taking time. I know this is day of game 82, but perhaps the first thing to do is reflect on what these last 8 months have been for you and what it's like to be a president of a new hockey club.
Yeah, John, thanks for having me on. It's great to be with you. It goes without saying it's been a whirlwind, but I suppose it tells you that with great ownership and total buy-in from all levels of the organization, all aspects of the organization, and amazing fan and community support, that you can stand up an entirely new franchise and play an entire season and inside of the 1 year anniversary of the team. The inception of the team. So it's just been an amazing and exhilarating ride for all of us. It's obviously been a lot of hard work and many challenges along the way, but just so proud of our group on and off the ice for pulling together and giving ourselves an inaugural season we can be proud of.
Have you had any sleep?
Not much. The sleep deficit's definitely at a high point. But as I say, it's easy to get up in the morning when you get a chance to build something. And every day we're building one additional layer on top of the layer we laid down the day before. And that's a very privileged place to be in life, to do something that is a labor of love and to work with great people.
So take us back. It's about a year since everything happened so quickly between what was happening in Arizona and then the press conference there and then the press conference in Salt Lake City. How did it come about so quickly that you were able to transform this organization?
Well, I think through the collaborative effort of many people, selfless sacrifice, total buy-in. We had obviously at SCG, we have unbelievable group of employees who leaned all the way in upon hearing that this was coming to fruition. It was a surprise to them as it was to everybody in the sporting world, and nobody hesitated. Everybody put their hands up and did whatever was necessary to get us rolling. And obviously, the first step was relocating an entire roster of players and hockey operations staff, and building a practice facility that would be ready in time for training camp, making renovations to the arena, which had hosted NHL hockey before, through a series of exhibition games called the Frozen Fury that featured the LA Kings. But the building, was not obviously an everyday NHL facility, so we had to do that work quickly to get it there. And opening day on October the 8th against Chicago came quickly, I can assure you. But I think at an early point accepted the things that we could control and relinquished the things that we couldn't, and knew we would get to them in time. It really is a story of collaboration and selflessness by so many people. And, when you have the will and support and resources of our ownership group in Ryan and Ashley Smith, anything's possible.
Well, just out of curiosity, you take another step back. So when did your relationship with Ryan start? And when was the topic first brought up with you that he was interested in moving Arizona to Salt Lake City?
So Ryan and I met about 10 years ago through mutual friends and contacts. Ryan's actually a good friend of Tony Finau, who I represented for a long time. And so we spent a lot of time.
Tony's from Salt Lake, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, Salt Lake. So I would say we never really had a conversation about our interest in the Arizona Coyotes. Our interest was always in the possibility of expansion, and Utah as an NHL market, and the reasons for that. When the league approached us as a potential solution provider for the situation they faced in Arizona, we had to take a step back because it was a daunting proposition in the timeline that it was presented. But ultimately, we felt, although it wasn't expansion, that it was a great opportunity to become an NHL club and to figure out how we could roll that out. So when these things come by, you just don't hesitate. You jump on them and you get all in, and that was our mindset. You can't look back. So that was our approach.
Has Finau bought season tickets yet?
He's been a fixture at a lot of games, and I gather, I heard secondhand that he told a large contingent at a Delta function at the Masters that hockey's his new favorite sport, and he sort of told the story of how all of this came together. We were actually on a trip with him and his wife and Ryan, myself, and Danny Ainge when we first discussed the topic of hockey as a potential fit for Utah a couple of years ago, and so it's special for that group to reminisce on that trip and what became of it, because Danny Ainge ultimately became the CEO of basketball for the Utah Jazz out of that trip, and fast forward to present day, we have an NHL team as a result of that trip. So it was fun to look back.
I don't want to go down too far a rabbit hole, but we had George McPhee on earlier in the week, and we got talking about things that I've been enjoying and watching, and one of the things is this Celtics Pride HBO documentary series.
Yeah,
and Ainge is part of that. And George was talking about how he got to have lunch with Red Auerbach every once in a while, and I was agog of that. But now all of a sudden, here we are. We're 2 days later, and now we've put another piece of the puzzle of really how small the sports world is. No matter whether you're in golf, as you were in your previous life, or in hockey, or basketball, as it comes.
for sure. I one of the great privileges of my job is the time that I get to spend with Danny, and he's such a wealth of knowledge and information. He has the athlete perspective, he has the front office perspective. He's a great talent evaluator and developer. It's that's one of the great benefits that we have between the two organizations, is that collaboration that we get, and to share best practices and bounce ideas off each other, because we don't compete, right? So we can share everything.
You don't think you compete?
Well, we compete for who's going to raise the banner first, but we don't compete on the hard court, and we don't compete on the ice.
So from a business perspective, what would be the challenges of, you're the newbie. The Jazz have been there a long period of time. The Jazz have had success. They're struggling right now. How would you integrate your business situation and expectations with what that of Danny and the Jazz would be?
Yeah, I would say in a very complementary fashion. Utah is a sports market, and the Jazz have a great and loyal fan base, as passionate fan base as you'll ever see. Even right to the final games of the regular season, being that they were, the bottom team in the NBA this year, the building was still full and still loud, right to the buzzer, which it tells you everything you need to know about the Utah sports fan. They show up, they're loud and proud, and they support their teams. And we've certainly experienced that and felt that since the welcome event, when we brought the players a couple days after the transaction was completed. We brought the players to Utah for a welcome event, and we filled the arena and really set the tone for. I think it put everybody's mind at ease from the standpoint of our players and staff, that this was going to work out, and that there was a market that had a heavy desire for NHL hockey and to support their team, and that we were going to use that energy that we experienced that day as motivation to get everything we needed done.